Hi, and good night. I am having technical difficulties again, but I'm almost ready. So thank you so much for your patience. Um, let's see here. Okay, so today is Transformation Tuesday, and we are talking about how to shed body fat like a dietitian. So again, starting from the top, welcome to Transformation Tuesdays, my new series. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to shed body fat like a dietitian. So my name is Aminta, and I'm your weight loss coach for women who want to lose weight without cutting out all their favorite foods. So, there are a lot of people who want to lose weight, and more specifically, body fat. So the problem with this is that there are a million ways to do that, right? There's keto, there's Atkins, paleo, Whole30. So what is quote unquote the right way? So the right way is what will work for you, not only to lose weight, but to keep it off. And also a method where you are not miserable, because weight loss does take some time. And so you don't want to be miserable all of the time that you're working on this goal. So some ways work better than others. And I'm going to explain 3 tips for you on how I personally do that when I want to get rid of some extra body fat. So the first thing, hope you have your pen and paper or your notes app open. First thing is you want to know your calories. So the first mistake that people make is that they have no idea of how many calories that they're taking in on a regular basis. So you might be asking yourself, okay, well, how can I determine that? One way you can do that is by tracking your calories, doing a food journal, using an app. There are lots of different ones, MyFitnessPal, Chronometer. There are a lot of different ones out there. So you can just choose one that works for you. So when you track your calories, it's a good idea to do a few days, 2 to 3 days, and take an average of those days. And it's also important to do a weekend day, because we all eat a little bit different on the weekend, right? So a little story with tracking calories with me is that, I decided I wanted to lose some weight a few months ago, and I really wasn't seeing results. And sometimes I can just kind of do some small tweaks and I get results, but that didn't work. So what did I do? Even as a dietitian, I tracked my food so I could determine what the issue was, what amount of calories I was actually taking in. So just like with any other goal you have, whether it's financial or in your career, you do have to track it in order to see what type of progress, where you are, and what you need to do to get where you want to be. The next thing, number 2, for you to do is to add instead of restrict. So a lot of diets focus on restricting foods, like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't eat this. And that's really like hell, right? Like who wants to live like that? So instead of focusing on what you cannot do, you should focus on adding into your diet. And the things that you want to add into your diet primarily would be foods for volume. So one thing that I encourage my clients to do is to eat for volume, because part of the satisfaction in eating, part of achieving satisfaction when eating, is having a certain amount of volume in your stomach, right? And as a sidebar, like the stomach is actually, a pretty small organ. So sometimes we think we need like this huge amount of food to satisfy it, but a lot of times that's just out of habit. Back to what I was saying, volume foods, eating for volume. So foods you can eat for volume are non-starchy vegetables, and then some of your lower starch fruits as well. So examples of that would be like tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, string beans, your leafy greens, collard greens, kale, what else? All types of leafy vegetables, cauliflower. Those are your non-starchy vegetables. So as opposed to your starchy vegetables, such as like corn, peas, potatoes, sweet potatoes, there's nothing wrong with those. Those should still be incorporated into your diet. But adding foods for volume, like your non-starchy vegetables, is very helpful. Fruits you can add as your non-starchy and your lower carb fruits would be like apples, oranges, berries, cherries, items like that. Okay, so with that, you're adding in a lot of volume into your diet. So with that, you would be decreasing the volume on some of your higher calorie and higher fat foods. So you can still eat your cookies. Yes, you can still eat, like if you're a potato person, and a lot of people love their potatoes. If you like that, you can still have them. You're just slightly decreasing that portion size, right? So it's all about portions. It's all about moderation. It's all about balance. Thirdly, circling back to number one would be keeping track. So now that you kind of have an idea, you started off with tracking what you're eating for a few days and being honest with yourself. If you're a lady, you might find that you're eating upwards of 2,500 calories. And a lot of times this comes from eating outside food, your like fast foods, restaurant foods, those foods that are especially fried foods that are higher in calories. I definitely encourage you to look on the menu and the calories, the nutrition information for those restaurants and fast food establishments that you frequent, because you will likely be surprised at how many calories are in there. And that's not to scare you. That's not to say that you can never eat it, but that will show you that's probably part of the reason why you're having slow and consistent weight gain instead of maintaining your weight and instead of losing your weight. So you figured out how many calories you've been eating because you tracked them in the beginning. Now, what you can do is you can subtract some calories from that. You don't have to do anything drastic like 1,000. You actually can just start small, 300 to 500 calories. And from there, you will see weight loss. Now, the next question is, how do you know that you're consistently eating that 300 calories, 400 calories less than you were previously? Well, you do need to track it, because that's really the only way you're going to know for sure that you're hitting that goal. And so, like I said in the beginning, that's something I had to do in order to start seeing results again, because sometimes you just kind of get into a habit, you're in maintenance mode, and you just have your ways and your habits. And so tracking helped me to meet my goal recently, and I'm happy with that. Yes, so starting from the top, know your calories. Number 2, add instead of restrict, adding those foods for volume so you don't feel deprived. And 3, keeping track of how you're doing. You don't have to track forever, but you do need a track to get started. And that's about it. So what happens when you do this is that you're able to lose weight in a balanced and sustainable way. You're able to still incorporate foods that you like and enjoy, whatever your thing is, whether it's cookies, chocolate. All my clients have their thing that they like: ice cream sandwiches, whatever it is. So if you have questions or comments, unfortunately, I cannot see them from how I am doing this live stream, but if you do have questions or comments, please do message me and I'd be happy to answer that for you. And if you do want support in losing weight without restricting all your favorite foods, without giving up those things you love, then please send me a DM or visit my website at gosimplenutrition.com. Next week, I will be sharing with you how emotions affect your eating habits and your weight. So join me next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thank you.